Hello everyone and welcome to a book review for All the Lovely Bad Ones by Mary Downing Hahn. This was originally published in 2008 and this is a middle grade paranormal, did I write it down? Horror mystery paranormal. This is definitely told in first person. This edition is 182 pages. There was an audiobook available. It is narrated by Jeff Cummings and Alex Dale, and on standard one-time speed it is 4 hours and 44 minutes. So for this one, we are following from this perspective of Travis, who is the older brother. So we're following a sibling pair, or a brother and a sister. Travis is older, and then his sister Corey is younger by 1 year. They are referred to as bad ones, basically mischief makers. They like to play pranks. They were supposed to go to summer camp, but basically they were told they are not welcome back due to all the pranks that they have played at camp. So their parents, it doesn't get into detail why they had to go to summer camp, probably just to give them something to do. So instead of going to summer camp, they're going and spending the summer with their grandma. Their grandma owns an inn. So these kids live in, was it Ohio? I don't remember where they're from. But the inn is located in Vermont, and it's kind of an isolated setting. It talks about how people want to be closer to town, so they tend usually to opt to stay at these inns and hotels that are much closer to town, so it's not such a long drive. So it sounds like it's more of an isolated setting. There's rumors that the inn that the grandma owns has been haunted in the past. Recently there has been no activity. Income is a little strained at the moment because there's not a lot of reservations. Not a lot of people are staying there, again, because they want to stay closer to town. Things that were reported were children's giggling, things being moved, disappeared, footsteps running up and down the hall, things opening and closing by themselves, inanimate objects moving on their own type of a thing. So kind of more poltergeist type activity is what you would think, but it still leads to the same. It's haunted. Now sales were up for a while because it was in the midst, some of the activity was more active, and the current time frame when we enter the story, there is no activity. But that is about to change. So Corey and Travis, being the little pranksters and troublemakers that they are, decide to create their own ghost activities to try and, one, have fun, and two, help maybe drum up a little bit more business for their grandma so that financial situations aren't so stressful or tight for her. So they want to do that. And then once, basically right from the get-go, once they start to do that, things start to actually go bump in the night. There actually is some activity, some paranormal activity, again, things being moved, giggling, not so nice words like cussing and things like that going on, and things happen. There's some talk as far as, do people believe in ghosts? Do they not? Have they seen ghosts? Have they not? Have they just experienced something kind of paranormal? Things like that. So that's pretty much the basis of it. I would consider these kids to be on a quest. At some point they are given a quest to end the paranormal activity, and you're following as they try to complete their quest. I mean, it doesn't say quest, but basically if you are doing a readathon where quest is in, like, characters that go on a quest or take part in a quest, I would consider this, especially if you want to do like a middle grade, I would definitely consider this to be quest-like, especially with what they need to do to complete, because they have certain tasks that they need to do to end certain activities that go on. So again, this takes place in Vermont. You have a couple of characters. You have their grandmother. It's Travis, where this is told in first person. This is Travis is the one telling the story, and you're seeing as he watches the activity happen to his sister, how her mood and demeanor kind of changes, how his grandma gets irritated because she's not a believer in ghosts, and things that he experiences himself. So that's pretty much it. Now, content warning. You have parents that worry, that fuss over how much their child is eating. So, for example, this is the example that is given in the book. If the child does not eat enough, the parents start to worry if the child is anorexic. If the child eats too much, they start to worry that the child is bulimic. And those words are used. Both one time, anorexic comes up once, bulimic once, both in reference to the parents fretting over how much the child is eating. Not taking into consideration if the child's not feeling well emotionally or physically, or whatever the case is. A couple other big characters. You have Mr. and Mrs. Brewster. Mrs. Brewster is the cook for the inn and does some stuff around the house as far as like cleaning. Mr. Brewster is more of like the maintenance and the gardener type of a person and roles. And then there's also Tracy, who is older than Travis by like 2 or 3 years. And he's kind of got a little crush on her when he sees her. A couple times you hear him go, oh, she could be my girlfriend. Oh, she'll never be my girlfriend because I'm too young. I'm too whatever. So he's got a little bit of a crush on her. And there's that conversation again amongst everyone. Do you believe or do you not? So a couple other things. Child abuse is depicted on this, as well as suicide is not only mentioned, not the actual word suicide, but how someone unalives themselves. So it is said how they did and the actions that happened right after said event happened and things like that. So that is a heavy topic throughout this, so please be aware of that. I would also say that a trigger is victim blaming. So someone does something bad and yet they're saying, well, you made me do this. Your actions, your words, your behavior made me do this to you, so it's your fault. Because if you wouldn't have behaved this way, I wouldn't have done that. So victim blaming. For example, like, let's just say abuse. You have the abuser who says, well, if you wouldn't have said the wrong thing in this situation, I wouldn't have abused you, so it's your fault. So that type of, I think gaslighting's a word. I just prefer victim blaming. You're blaming the victim for the situation when it's not their fault. So that is definitely heavy in here. So yeah, those are the big trigger warnings. Another trigger warning for some people is going to be fat shaming. Some of the ghosts do call people fatty, fatty bottom, fat bottom, kind of in regards to their appearance of the person being slightly overweight. So you do have that. Okay, now, with all of that said, with that being the synopsis, without spoiling anything, I do recommend this book. I had a good time with it. And again, just be cautious going into it, especially with how heavy the suicide situation is and the abuse with the victim blaming. So just be cautious going into it. So now let's talk about words in case you're still kind of on the fence. Again, this is a middle grade, so the words are not bad, or not too bad. So you have hellfire, which does come up one time. Satan comes up once. Breast comes up once. That is more in reference, not done in any sort of a sexual way, but the word is in there, so I did want to let you know. It is done as far as like a mother is breastfeeding her child. Okay, so she's holding the child up to her breast, feeding the child, this little baby. So that's how it's done in there. So just so it doesn't catch anyone completely off guard. And then the word Lord is in here twice. So that is it. Let me know. Now, I know Mary Downing Hahn has written several books. I have read Wait Till Helen Comes. That was my very first. The Doll in the Garden is another one that I read. And I think there was another one, but I don't. Let me see. The Doll in the Garden. I thought there was another one. That might be all I've read by Mary Downing Hahn so far. I do know, I'm recognizing the cover because there's some of the images here I am recognizing the cover for Deep and Dark and Dangerous, but I have not read that one yet. So anyway, let me know. Have you read any books by Mary Downing Hahn? Have you liked the books? Or that's not more your thing? If you have read them and you do like Mary Downing Hahn's work, what is your favorite one that you have read by her? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.